first things first, he comes in, he clears the decks. Get rid of the mercenaries, get rid of any individual who's got a face on any individual that doesn't understand what it means to play for Manchester United and who doesn't want to be there. So that's bye-bye Paul Pogba. Jesse Lingard, you can on your Todd as well, before I swear. He's got to get on. And then just a few stragglers that just are not up to par. I think
Aaron Wan-Bissaka?
I mean, you know my thoughts on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And for what I know of Erik ten Hag, he's going to take one look at Aaron Wan-Bissaka and not fancy him at all, I don't think. Just because he's not good enough in the attacking third. If you want to be a modern-day attacking football team, as Erik ten Hag has built in his career, you need two fullbacks who in the final third essentially are wingers. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a centre-back masquerading as a right-back in modern-day football. He is. In a back three, I think you could hide him. Right side of a back three. Right back, right wing back. Not in a month of Tuesdays.
Okay.
I'd rather Robbie Greenfield trotting up that right
so
way.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka is part of the deck clearance.
Yes.
What about players that for me are just not world class but continue
Scott McTominay, Fred.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so I think Erik ten Hag will like Scott McTominay because there's a footballing brain there. He's a good pro. Everything that I've heard about Scott McTominay is he does things right. And in a 25-man squad, you don't necessarily need to have every single player at the top in terms of talent level. You sometimes need good pros. And Scott McTominay sets the tone, I think. And I think he's been a victim of the current malaise at that football club. He's also profited from it because he starts more often than not. But equally, he's a boy, I can't help but think if Fergie was there, he would have kicked on in the Darren Fletcher mode. So Scott McTominay sticks around. I think Fred is a technical footballer who there's maybe still a role for a Fred in a Man United squad, and it pains me to say that, but maybe there is. You know, there is a player there in terms of his output, in terms of what he can give. He needs to sharpen up his consistency, yes, but there's a player.
So who's bossing the midfield then?
It's a new recruit. That's where I would be lavishing.
That's a massive question mark.
Yeah, Nemanja Matic. Thank you, but no thanks. You're kind of on your way now. Juan Mata, thank you, but no thanks. Andreas Pereira will come back from his loan spell at Flamengo. Thank you, but no thanks. So Mata, Matic, Pereira,
that is
Cavani,
a lot of debt clearing to be done.
Wan-Bissaka, Pogba,
Ronaldo, is
Lingard.
he part of the clearance?
No, I don't think he is. Erik ten Hag needs to sit down with him. But Ronaldo's still got a lot to offer.
But he also needs to clarify from him. He needs to sit down with him and say, look, I don't want any kind of unnecessary saga to be drawn out. I don't need social media posts.
You won't get that from Ronaldo. You've got to convince Ronaldo of the project. It's up to Erik ten Hag, and this is part of the job. It's any new boss that comes in, even if we had a new boss on Dubai 103.8. It's up to them to prove to all of us that he or she is fit for the job.
I suppose the problem with Ronaldo is the project might take longer than he's willing to give. I think that's the sort of issue with him. Well, he's probably thinking...
Again, remember, Rob, good managers, the very best managers come in and they have an instant. They have an instant kind of, feeling, or they have an instant impact, the word I'm looking for. Thomas Tuchel, case in point. If Erik ten Hag is as good as what we were led to believe, he'll get the summer to come in there. It's going to be announced next week after this Dutch Cup final between Ajax and PSV Eindhoven. He'll already be going through the dossiers of the player. I'm sure he's in touch with Man United to get video sent over, to get dossiers sent over. Let me look at the current squad. Let me look at training sessions under Ralph Rangnick. He'll be doing all of that. So when he comes in day one, he'll have a set structure, set way that he wants to play, and he hits the ground running.
Okay.
And if you can convince Ronaldo in those first few weeks of pre-season training that they're onto something,
yeah, I guess my point is that can't be allowed to be drawn out, whereby Ronaldo's a distraction come sort of July.
I don't think he will.
You need to sort of get that conversation had, and sort of almost.
A decision may even Erik ten Hag will have his own ideas. A decision may already be made, unbeknown to us, Rob. That Ronaldo maybe is already on his way out. We don't know.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I don't feel if Erik ten Hag is as good as what we're led to believe, I don't think Ronaldo's a problem, because I think Ronaldo's a footballing man that will see, right, we're onto something here. So clear the decks first and foremost.
Okay, well, just one final player, Rashford. What happens to him?
He stays.
Obviously, Sancho, a lot is kind of...
Yes.
A lot of
Sancho,
onus is on Sancho to kind of grow
Rashford,
into the...
Does Anthony Martial come back into the fold after his loan spell in Sevilla? He's got to come back. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of footballers there that Erik ten Hag will look at and think, you fit my model, it's just whether their personalities do. And that's a key thing. It's the cultural reboot that football club needs. And that's where I've gone with number 2. Get to work on the training ground. Forget the checkbook for a second. Coach until you coach no more. And that is Erik ten Hag to a T. This Man United team is basic. They can't even do the basics right. So Erik ten Hag needs to get on the training ground, whether it's double sessions. The prima donnas, they may earn 300 grand a week. Morning, afternoon, indoctor them in the Erik ten Hag way. The 4-3-3, get them up to speed quickly with how you want to play. Get your methodology, get your philosophy down pat, because that is what Man United are missing. They're missing an identity. That falls on then to number 3, and this is where I think double sessions. You're going to see the articles written on this day 1 at pre-season. He's going to be doing double sessions because Man United are far and away one of the most sluggish sides in the Premier League. They are so far below what you need to be. City, Liverpool, even to an extent Southampton, in terms of fitness levels, the desire. Out of possession, they need to be far, far better. I'm expecting Man United to be as fit as they have been since the Fergie days next season, because simply right now they're not fit for purpose. Number 4, recruitment. He's going to work closely with John Murtagh and Darren Fletcher to get that recruitment structure in place. Identify players that are of the Man United mould, not the Erik ten Hag mould, but the strategy that has been laid out. What are Man United? What is their style for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? We recruit accordingly. And then number 5, and it's the most contentious of them all, strip Harry Maguire of the captaincy. He is not captain material.
I think that's contentious.
He's not captain material. Let that boy take the pressure off him. Is he going to be up to speed with what Erik ten Hag wants? I don't think he is, to be perfectly honest. I think you'll see Harry Maguire maybe be phased out, but he's not captain. If Ronaldo sticks around, give him the captaincy. Why? He's the best player, arguably, there's ever been. One of the best player there's ever been. He does things right. Give him the club captaincy. He probably deserves that. Harry Maguire is not captain material.
He's got to stop whacking phones out of kids' hands to get the club captaincy.
Well, there is that. There is that. Roy Keane did an awful lot of bad things in his career as well. Ronaldo, in terms of the professional that he is, I'd rather kind of focus in on that. He's far more captain material than Harry Maguire.
That's a comprehensive list. I'm almost starting to believe that Man United could genuinely turn this around, Chris.
It's not easy to do.
You sound a little optimistic though.
Listen, if they do that though, Rob, if they don't do any of that, then I'm still going to be peeved off, and I'm going to be sat here in 12 months banging the same drum. All of this stuff needed to happen.
Well, presumably Erik ten Hag knows all of this, and
yeah, he does.
You got to expect him to try and at least execute it. But that's the challenge.
You haven't got the players. Why you've got to get them. Remember, and I hope Bobby Zamora's not listening to us. Bobby said it to us: 90%, 85 to 90% of at the top level is having a good dressing room. If you've got one bad egg, it's like a pack of cards. The whole thing will come tumbling down. Man United need to weed out the bad eggs. Get shot, get rid, and bring in guys, whether they're even if they're not as talented on paper, if they are good eggs, you've got a chance.
Chris called it the biggest job in football. There is no doubt, in my mind at least, and I'm sure yours as well, if you're tuning in, if you are a Manchester United fan, that it is a sizable task facing the incoming manager, Erik ten Hag. But that was a pretty comprehensive breakdown, Chris.